Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir! It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM, soon to be 103.3. We're going to 103.3 FM beginning February 1st. Welcome to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. My name's Michael Jimenez. As always, we're on the go at sasportstar.com. I'm your host from 12 to 2, sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. What a weekend, man. I am out of breath. Karl Schoening is my co-host and producer today. Karl, how are you doing?
Pretty good. You know, I watched my two teams play last night, Spurs and 76ers.
Yes.
So I win and I lose every time, and that's how it goes.
Dude, I am out of breath after this weekend's games. All four games. We had 3 walk-off kicks and a walk-off touchdown to end the games. Man, it was so surreal watching these games. We may have seen the last game of Tom Brady, so we'll be getting into that. Obviously, we're going to break down all 4 games, talking Spurs at 12:30. Our nostalgic area is going to be around 1:30, talking about the band Nickelback. Is it time to uncancel them? Because 20 years ago today, they had the #1 song in the United States, and then suddenly they got canceled. Like, people started hating on them.
What'd they do to get canceled?
I don't know, man.
Oh, you mean just the general hate that Nickelback gets?
Yeah.
I have no idea why they have that too.
So let's talk about that at 1:30. But listeners, it's time to call in, man. The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Let's talk football. Let's talk playoffs. Let's talk about the fact that we may have seen one of the greatest football games of all time last night when it came to the Chiefs and the Bills. Absolutely incredible finish. And then not only that, I mean, we had the Rams almost choking their game away to the Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers is out of the playoffs. I mean, who's the bigger disappointment? The Dallas Cowboys or the Green Bay Packers? And you know what? We may have a new stud quarterback out there named Joe Burrow. The Cincinnati Bengals take out the Tennessee Titans. We have lots of football to talk. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. That is 656 ESPN. Simple question. I actually have this as a poll question on Twitter, Karl. Were the games, the excitement behind those games, better than sex?
That's not a fair question of the virgins in the audience.
Very, very true. But you can vote on this poll on Twitter. My handle is at MikeESPNSA. Karl is at KarlESPN, Karl with a K. But again, we go till 2 o'clock, sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Now, typically, we kind of, walk our way into the show. It's kind of like, getting into the swimming pool. We just tiptoe in, walk our way in. But today, we're going to dive right into the sports. Let's talk about that Chiefs-Bills game last night. Oh, my God, what an incredible game. The Chiefs win this game 42-36 in overtime. This game just went back and forth. Just to break it down, an amazing look at the scoring. The Buffalo Bills were leading this game 29-26 with 1:54 to go. Kansas City comes out, takes the lead 33-29 with 1:02. Buffalo Bills get another touchdown. Gabriel Davis, his 4th touchdown of the game, making it 36-33 with 13 seconds to go. Kansas City, led by Patrick Mahomes, somehow gets into field goal range in 13 seconds to tie the game at 36. And then Kansas City wins this game in overtime with a touchdown, 42-36. Absolutely insane ending to this game. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Mahomes, 378 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He threw 177 yards after the 2-minute warning. 177 yards thrown after the 2-minute warning, and it just ruined Josh Allen's night because, man, he had a brilliant game. 329 yards, 4 touchdowns. All 4 touchdowns going to Gabriel Davis, who caught for 201. 201 yards receiving, and they lost. The Buffalo Bills, talk about a team that is snake-bitten. This is a team that lost 4 straight Super Bowls back in the 80s and early 90s. And just this was their opportunity, man, because if they won this game, they would have hosted the AFC Championship game and would have most likely made their way to the Super Bowl. And dare I say, they probably would have been the favorite in the Super Bowl. They were 13 seconds away. That is 1 second fewer than what Dak Prescott had against the Niners, where he did that quarterback run and he burned 14 seconds. In 13 seconds, somehow the Chiefs got into field goal range to tie the game, and they wanted an OT. And what ends up happening is you have people complaining right now, Karl, about the overtime rule. They're basically saying, I cannot believe Josh Allen did not get a chance to try to tie this game. You can't change the rules mid-game.
No, but they've always had an overtime rule issue, and the NFL's just too stubborn to take away from every other level of football, such as high school and college, which has a significantly better overtime period, probably because they think that starting at the 25 for pros just isn't worth it.
No, it's not.
I would say start at the opposing 45. No kickoffs, nothing like that. Just start at the opposing 45, and you go back and forth.
Now, I understood the people getting upset where if you got a field goal in overtime, it would end the game. And the NFL corrected that by saying, look, if the other team gets a field goal or doesn't score, you get the ball, man. You get the ball. Play some defense. But if you give up a touchdown, the game's over. So I get people being upset about yesterday's game because they wanted the game to keep going. I mean, it was brilliance upon brilliance upon brilliance. But man, I'm sorry, man. If the Bills wanted to win that game, they would have held on to a lead with 13 seconds to go. They would have prevented Mahomes from that touchdown drive in overtime. The Bills at that point do not deserve to win. So I'm glad that there isn't a change or a wrinkle to that rule. But man, lots of games to discuss. In fact, we have somebody, Mingo, on line one, wants to talk about Aaron Rodgers and how the Packers went down to the Niners. What's up, Mingo?
Great weekend of football. Hey, I was just wanted to comment about, did you hear that press conference where Aaron Rodgers said that, he doesn't want to stick around if the Packers want to rebuild? I was thinking, why don't we bring him to get rid of cut Dak and get in Aaron Rodgers because he'll make something happen. With the receivers that we have, he's got more options to go to. I think Joker, Montgomery Burns, Jerry Jones needs to go ahead and see if we can get Aaron in here and let's win some games. He's got a better pedigree than Dak the Mac.
Very nice. Hey, Mingo, thanks for calling in. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Mingo brings up the point of, should the Cowboys get a better quarterback than Dak Prescott? Now, before the season started or during the season, I thought that Dak Prescott was maybe tier 2 quarterback. Okay, I would never have considered him to be the best quarterback in football, but I would consider him to be, somewhere around 4 or 5. But after this month's playoffs, Karl, I don't see Dak Prescott as top 5. I'm seeing what Joe Burrow's doing in Cincinnati. I'm seeing Josh Allen in Buffalo. People were like, oh, well, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, it's kind of, either one. No, man. Dak Prescott, in my eyes, has slid down to like 8 or 9.
Yeah, he's top 10.
But he's a tail in the top 10, right?
He's too good to give up unless you are getting a Rodgers or maybe a Russell Wilson. And those are, maybe gambles as well, because you see Rodgers have this phenomenal season where I think since he quote unquote broke his toe, I think he threw 20 touchdowns and had no interceptions, and he hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2010. So are you really going to say, oh, he won a Super Bowl in his 20s? He's in his late 30s.
And now we're looking at quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford, who finally have a good team behind them. Matthew Stafford led the Rams to a victory over the Super Bowl champ Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday, 30-27.
He's better than Dak.
Wow. We've come a long way. I mean, look at how well these quarterbacks play in a variety of different ways. Last night, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes led their teams in rushing. We had 68 yards rushing by Josh Allen and 69 by Patrick Mahomes. That's dangerous to have them out there doing that. But man, it just shows how versatile they are out there. And in taking a look at that Rams-Bucks game, I predicted on halftime on Friday that the Rams would win this game by 3. So I got that one. I nailed that one. Almost nailed it. I said 27-24. It was 30-27. Pretty darn close. The reason why I thought the Rams were going to win this game was because of what happens when Tom Brady loses. Tom Brady loses when he gets happy feet and you get people around him. And you have Von Miller and Aaron Donald out there going out there, and they were just nipping at his toes the entire time. And Brady could not get comfortable for about 3 quarters, to the point where the Rams were up 27-3 at one point in the third quarter. And we're all thinking this is over, right? But then again, this is Tom Brady, who in the Super Bowl came back from a 28-3 deficit to the Atlanta Falcons. And it appeared as though, it just felt as though Tom Brady was going to somehow magically will this team back to victory. And I had that feeling before, because Tom Brady needs to have like 8 or 9 things to happen that are all flukes to happen in order to get that chance. And it was happening, man. He was getting the Bucs were getting the turnovers. The Rams were fumbling the ball. They were missing field goals. They were doing all of those things, and the Bucs were chipping away at the lead. They tie the game at 27. It looks like it's going to overtime. It looks like the Bucs have all the momentum in the world, and then all of a sudden, Cooper Kupp is wide open in the middle of the field for a bomb, setting up the Rams' go-ahead winning field goal as time expires. Now, the funny part of all that, though, was you want to see how fast these guys run. You had offensive linemen, these 350-pound guys, racing down the field while Matthew Stafford is there just pointing them out like, come on, come on, come on. And they line up and spike the ball with a couple of seconds to go. It was amazing. What a great way to end that game as well. The Rams get that field goal. And now we were talked about yesterday and all of last week that the road to the Super Bowl went through Lambeau, that the road to the Super Bowl went through Nashville. Not anymore, man.
Mm-mm.
Both top seeds gone. We had 3 road victories. 3 visitors won that game, and Buffalo should have won that game. All 4 home teams should have lost, but Kansas City held on. So the road goes through Kansas City, and now it goes through SoFi, and now the Rams have the chance of hosting the Super Bowl. They could have a home game, but before that, they have to beat the Niners. Oh my God, Karl, which game was your favorite out of all those games?
You know, I thought that Tampa Bay LA game was pretty much dead in the water, but that one was the one that I watched the most of this weekend, and I want to say that one was entertaining because you do have the Brady storyline, and to your point, the Rams defense pressured Tom Brady 17 times, which is the most pressure he's faced in a game this season. And you know, I'm really thinking that this is the LA boomer bust season, because if they don't win the Super Bowl, they've invested way too much in this particular roster this year for them not to win, you know, because they've mortgaged their future on several fronts, obviously with the Stafford trade. So I would go LA and Tampa, but I do think the better game was obviously the Bills and the Chiefs. I was watching Spurs 76ers though.
Siberian on Facebook Live says it took 4 turnovers for Tom Brady to get back in that game. If not for those turnovers, it would have been a massacre. It was a sloppy play than it was Tom Brady leading them back. I get that. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady did lead them back. It did take those turnovers. It did take those miscues. I mean, it did take Matt Stafford not seeing a snap go and it go behind his head and be recovered by the Bucs. A lot of things had to happen. And guess what? If it had gone to overtime, do I think that the Rams would have won that game? Heck no, man. No way in the world would the Rams have won that game. Chris Gonzalez talking about, what about the Bucs getting 4 or 5 personal fouls in the first half? One of them going to Brady.
And his first one ever.
That was crazy. And you know what? I usually consider Brady to be a crybaby because he is. I mean, LeBron James is too.
He's very expressive, right? And he gets the close-ups to show it off.
But in this case, his mouth was bleeding. He had blood coming out of his mouth. I mean, he's there going, look at me, man. I didn't do this to myself. But he must have said something, you know. I mean, he got within striking distance of that official, and you know, the flags came out. But to address that Facebook post, though, none of that mattered because they were down 20-3 at halftime. It should have been more, But Henderson fumbled the ball at the 2-yard line. They gave up some points right there, or the opportunity to score points. It didn't matter because the Bucks came back from 27-3. Right now, we'd be having the conversation about Tom Brady being the GOAT all over again. He is the GOAT. Doesn't matter what happens between now and the rest of his career. His career could be over. Bring that one back up on Facebook Live. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Tom Brady, probably. Okay, fake quote, but I like it. I believe it. But man, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN, 656 ESPN. I jokingly sent out a tweet. It's a poll asking the question, was the games last night better than sex? We have 22 votes in, and it's 50-50. It's 50-50. Tank reaches out and says, as a resident Bengals fan on your feed, absolutely.
Oh, for the Bengals, it has to have been because they've been waiting since 91 or 93, something before I was conscious of what football was.
Yeah, it depends on the team that you're cheering for, right? You might consider it to be one of the worst weekends of football. I have a friend of mine named Jacob on Facebook. He posted on Facebook the greatest game I have ever seen. And he was super excited. Why? Because he's a diehard Chiefs fan, and he's been that way his entire life. But at the same time, I have a former coworker of mine on Instagram at the same time it was like a black backdrop, and it's just text, and it says, I'm going to need 24 hours because her Instagram stories before that were of her at a Buffalo Bills viewing party. She's from the Buffalo area. She does not think that this weekend was a good weekend in sports. I mean, because her team lost. I mean, think about it, Cowboy fans. How the Cowboys lost to the Niners was brutal. That was brutal. But the way that these teams lost, the way that Green Bay lost, the way that Tennessee lost with Tannehill throwing the interception with about 20 seconds to go, leading to the go-ahead and winning field goal, the way that the Rams blew their opportunity to come back, or blew their lead, and the Bucks, giving it up at the end of the game. This was brutal. I mean, someone had to win these games, and it's absolutely brutal the way that some of these games ended. But man, Tom Brady, after the game, they asked the question, hey, are you going to keep playing? He will be 45 years old next season. And the fact of the matter is that he didn't say yes.
He said something like, I haven't put much thought into it. I think that was roughly his quote.
Wow.
Well, give him a few days. It is not something he thinks about, but I'm sure Gisele's probably telling him, hey, there's no need for you to keep doing this.
But he hasn't been a Brett Favre about this. I remember Brett Favre, towards the end of his career, would just draw it out. Oh, I don't know. It would be this saga all over SportsCenter for weeks upon weeks, and then he'd come back and say, I'm coming back for one more year at least. Tom Brady has never been that guy. Tom Brady has always been I want to play till at least I'm 50, 45. I can see myself out there for more years.
We're the ones, media is more the ones making this a storyline than he's given us any indication he might be leaving.
Well, it is a storyline if he doesn't say yes. I mean, come on. I mean, that means that retirement has crept into his head, because this is the first time I can remember that he's ever hemmed and hawed at this question. Normally it's, no, dude, I'm coming back. We're going to run it back next year. He's done that before.
Yeah, well, this is a little bit different. I think as he gets older every year, it's a 12-month, it's still 12-month job. You have to stay in shape, at least relatively, and I'm sure that's not too much of an issue for him. But I think he has a family, and Giselle's pretty much been telling him he needs to eventually hang it up sooner than later would probably be her preference. Because I think I saw something along the lines of how they're having marital issues over him playing football.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like she wants him to stop playing, but I wouldn't be surprised, just throwing it out there. Somebody that's been playing football for 25 years of their life might have some short-term memory issues.
Now, it's not like Tom Brady's play has gone down. I mean, he is in the running for MVP. Both he and Aaron Rodgers are considered to be 1 and 2. So it's not like he's had a down year. Do you think the fear is that maybe, just maybe, he will finally show his age and not play as well and doesn't want to go out that way.
I don't think he wants to go out the way he went out. I think he wants to go out on a Super Bowl and just say, hey, that's the end of the ride. Thank you. But can he? That would have to be next year if he wants to do it. At least try for next year. And maybe he's done with it. Maybe he's done winning Super Bowls. And that's also a tough pill to swallow for somebody like that who's had such tremendous success.
It would have been storybook had he gone out on top, like David Robinson back in 2003.
Mhm.
That would have been the storybook. Adam Renee reaches out on Facebook and says, Green Bay losing to the 49ers makes the Cowboys loss more bearable. Cowboys lost to a team that beat the number 1 seed. Hey, Cowboy fan, do you believe that? I mean,
Yes.
are you now suddenly cheering for the Niners so you can say, well, hey, at least we lost to the Super Bowl champs, right? I mean, come on. Reach out to us. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. I don't know what to make about Brady. I've always had this conversation about, the fact that he's the GOAT. And I believe his record is 7-3 in the Super Bowl? Something to that effect?
Tom Brady?
Yes.
Yeah, he lost to the Eagles once and the Giants twice.
So I think he's 7-3. It's weird because he could have been 3-7. What would his place in history be if he was 3-7 as opposed to 7-3? Because so much happened to make Brady 7-3. The Falcons collapsed 28-3. That offense was not on the field for over an hour and a half, I believe. And because of that, they came out rusty and they collapsed. What if they had lost that game? What if Marshawn Lynch had been given the ball at the 1 yard line as opposed to Russell Wilson throwing that interception? What if the tuck rule didn't exist? What if, so many different what ifs when it comes to Brady that, I mean, the fact of the matter is that he is probably the most blessed football player in NFL history. Don't get me wrong, he is the GOAT. He's 7 Super Bowl wins. You cannot deny that. He gets that title, he earns that title. But it's just so weird knowing that so many different things out of his control could have changed where he was considered in history. I mean, would you have said that Joe Montana at 4-0 would have been greater than Tom Brady at 3-7?
No, and I think luck goes into a little bit of winning championships. He'd almost be closer to like the LeBron James, where it's like undeniably great, but he's not MJ.
Adam Vinatieri kicks got him Super Bowl rings. I mean, this is a team sport. We have Siberian says on Facebook, if Tom Brady was 3-7 instead of 7-3, he would be LeBron James and not Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he beat me to it by a second. I didn't see it, but yeah, that really is the thing. But on top of that, if you look at it, those 2 Giants games were pretty close, and that Nick Foles shootout was just the craziest game of all time. Nobody expected Nick Foles to be able to put up more passing yards than Tom Brady and touchdowns in a Super Bowl. So, he's 3 games away from being 10-0, which would be even more ridiculous. So
now Brady, just to flip the script a little bit, the helmet catch.
Yes.
So there are 2 potential wins that he could have gotten against the Giants that would have made him potentially 9-1 in Super Bowls. But that's so weird about it when you think about it. I mean, it's the what ifs in sports. He's 7-3, could have been 3-7, could have been 9-1. Tim Duncan's the same way. Tim Duncan's 5-1, but without the .4, without Ray Allen's shot, if Manu had not hacked Dirk Nowitzki, it's very possible that Tim Duncan could have been a 9-time NBA champion. And where is he on the Mount Rushmore of basketball had he gotten 9 championship victories?
Did you want to make me cry? Was that the point of bringing all that
Well,
Tim Duncan stuff up? No. I know what you mean.
It's crazy to think about.
You're right. I don't think 2014 happens if 2013 does.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my thought there. But yeah, there probably is a stretch there where I think 06 and 04 the Spurs could have won, and that would have you change those things and maybe they don't win in 05 because they beat the Pistons in 04 kind of thing.
True.
So you never know. If you change one thing, you might change everything. But in those particular cases, I think the Spurs did have a chance to win every year Tim Duncan was healthy.
Karl coming back with the butterfly effect of sports. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't. That 2014 team was the best team I had ever seen, but it was because they were on a absolute mission.
Yeah.
They were not to be denied that championship return.
The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. When we come back, let's talk Spurs, man. The Spurs now have the 5th worst record in the NBA. Are you ready to join me on Team Tank? I think a lot of people are.
I think it's growing, but I don't think that it's necessarily what everybody has been doing. You know, they did do that Bryn Forbes trade.
Yeah.
And I'd almost say that is
the beginning
for people on Team Tank in a way. And you already lost that bet. Juancho Hernan Gomez did play,
he did play one game.
In one game. Yes.
Okay. Maybe I should restate that and say a meaningless minute of NBA ball for the Spurs. But this is halftime. We come back. We're talking Spurs at 1 o'clock. More football. We'll break down the Cincinnati game, break down the loss of Aaron Rodgers. Well, which was worse? The Packers season ending or the way the Cowboys season ended? This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I can't wait to watch you guys play.
We're ready for y'all.
Let's go.
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.
Let's go. Let's go.
Are you ready?
You gotta go out there every play and earn it.
Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star.
I like it.
We're serving up all the biggest games you can handle.
Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
Get all the action live on San Antonio Sports Star.
180. Wait up.
ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmitt's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today, 571-0318.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, there is a nice piece of stock music playing behind me that a talented composer worked really hard on. So let's enjoy it. Wow, almost overshadows the saving big when you switch to Progressive part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying, so I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Carrie, we need that tax report by tomorrow. Hey, Bobby, get me that expenses.
For Hari's accounting firm, client growth is
I know
exponential.
we're a couple of accountants short.
He
but
needs whip-smart accountants at whiplash speed.
Hey, so why aren't these receivables matching up?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Join up the game plan for the second half of the day. It's halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name's Michael Jimenez with Karl Schoening. Karl, did you know that today is the 14th anniversary, or you can say the 14th birthday of ESPN San Antonio?
No, that's pretty cool.
Very nice, man. Very nice.
I guess that's Jason Minnick's anniversary. How'd you find out about that?
Rob Thompson was talking to me about it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was called The Zone back then.
Oh, okay. Wow. So just like the original sports station, no matter what its name was.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. That'll have to be a congratulatory day for Jason. I'm pretty sure he opened this building.
Yeah, lots of changes, man.
Or this station.
Yeah. Lots of changes. We're going to 103.3. So we're moving from 94.5 to 103.3 beginning February 1st. Apparently, it's a stronger signal, bigger
it is.
outreach. So I'm looking forward to that, man. So welcome back to halftime. We go till 2 o'clock. Lots of sports to talk about. Gabriel Chacon on Facebook Live is making fun of the fact that I'm wearing this shirt. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, I have a plaid shirt, and he thinks it's in honor of Urban Cowboy because that's my movie review for Wednesday at 1:30, Urban Cowboy. I finally watched that movie this weekend with my wife. It was the first time for both of us. So
I have not even heard of it. I mean, I guess I've heard of it through this show, but I wouldn't know it if I saw it. Yeah.
Okay.
When was it made?
John Travolta, I believe it was made in 1980.
Okay,
right around there.
I can dig an 80s Travolta movie.
Yeah, it was after Saturday Night Fever and Grease and all that stuff. So movie review on Wednesday at 1:30. Rob Thompson's come by and asked me already, hey, did you like it or not? I'm like, hey, wait till Wednesday at 1:30. That's when I give the review.
Do you have a letter grade ready right now, though?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, this isn't one where it was like Scarface or Blood In, Blood Out, where, man, I just couldn't pinpoint the letter grade. You know, you could go one way or the other, but this one right here is pretty cut and dry. I have a letter grade. I said it out loud. My wife has a letter grade, so we also have that as well. So I'll tell you what she thinks of this movie. But again, that's Wednesday at 1:30. Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. You know, the Spurs dropped another game last night. I'm going to change the name of the AT&T Center.
It's already changing its name.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I've never heard anyone say this, but if someone else has said it, I apologize. But I was calling it the MTNT Center because of all the empty seats that were out there last night. And for all these games, the Spurs right now have the third worst attendance in the NBA. And it showed last night. Philadelphia came into town. Spurs lost 115 to 109. Record drops to 17-30. Sixers led most of the game. Spurs got it, made it interesting down the last stretch, last minute or two, got it down to about 4. I did watch this game. I DVR'd it after the Bills game and Chiefs game. I got out my DVR and I watched the Spurs game.
The ability to stay up till 11 o'clock.
Exactly. But, man, it was all about Joel Embiid, dude. I mean, Joel Embiid is just, I mean, they had no answer for him. I mean, Jakob Poeltl had a good game yesterday. And it's just one of those things where Joel Embiid just got his way. I mean, there was
he's
nothing.
the MVP, or he's the best player in the league.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean,
Jokic?
I would take him. Yeah, you know, and it is closer than you'd think, but I would take Embiid over any player in the NBA right now if I were starting a franchise.
DeJounte Murray 1 rebound short of another triple-double. He is like not only in second in triple doubles, he probably leads the NBA in moral victory triple doubles in the sense that he's one assist away or one rebound away. He just always seems to get very, very close. But DeJounte with 19 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. Again, it's just one of those things where the Spurs were just not talented enough. I mean, that was it. They were just not talented enough to win that game. At no point did I thought the Spurs had a chance to win. And I think more and more Spurs fans are looking at this going, okay, the Spurs have already played, 60% of their games. They're nowhere near a playoff berth. Let's time to tank. I mean, and I say tank as in you don't want the players to lose on purpose, but just like me, by the way, everyone's joining my side of the fence now. I have been the captain of Team Tank along with James Pledger from the very, very, very beginning because the Spurs need talented players on this roster, and that talent comes from the top of the lottery, man. It comes from the top of the lottery. We're not going to get better drafting 12, 13, or 14 every single year. I'm looking at the probable Western Conference All-Star selections. This isn't official yet, but these are the guys that I think are going to make it and where they were drafted. LeBron, he was drafted first. Curry, 7th. Chris Paul was 4th. John Morant was 2nd. Luka Doncic was 3rd. Anthony Edwards was 1st. Donovan Mitchell was 13th. Devin Booker was 13th. I mean, the odds of you finding somebody after 10 and them being a star is very, very, very remote. I mean, you're not going to find a lot of Jokic's out there who was drafted in the second round. It's just one of those things where the Spurs not only need lottery talent, we need top of the lottery talent. And this past weekend, all over Twitter, I saw so many people say, you know what? I'm tired of chasing after the 10th spot. I think a good chunk of Spurs fans, I would even say half of Spurs fans right now, Karl, are cheering for them to keep racking up those L's. And right now in Tankathon, the Spurs have the 5th worst record in the NBA, tied for 5th with Indiana. If they were going into the lottery right now, they'd have a 39.9% chance, let's say 40% chance of getting into the top 4, and they'd have a 10% chance of landing the overall number 1 pick in the draft. And I think Spurs fans look at that and go, you know what? I'd rather go in that direction than cheer for them to somehow magically get to the 10th spot.
We'll have to see because I would rather them do as well as possible. And if they get into the play-in and they win a play-in game, or dare I say, win the play-in tournament and get a playoff spot, that would be, I think, more ideal for the development of this young team and also make them more appealing to the max salary they could offer to whoever the best free agent is on the market should they go after that player. So, I don't think there are too many players that would want to join a full-on rebuild. Oh, Spurs are bottom 4, but if they're in the play-in spot and the Spurs do have a max salary contract slot they can give out to somebody like a James Harden potentially, then, I think they would be more interested in joining a team that maybe got into the first round of the playoffs versus not.
Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. Reach out to us. Talk to us about NFL. Talk to us about the Spurs. But man, we have Esteban Ramon on Facebook Live has a question for you, Karl. Wants to know about your thoughts on Joshua Primo's development.
He actually had his best game last night in Birmingham. He had 24 points, which was his G League career high. He was 4 of 6 from 3, and he had some pretty good looks from 3. I think, if you're a Spurs fan and you see that this team needs better 3-point shooting, that would be something that you want Primo to work on. And, Primo's had his fair share of 1 of 10 nights. Well, not his fair share, but, he's had nights where he didn't shoot a high percentage from 3, and then he's had nights like that where he did go 4 of 6. So, yeah, overall, G League is probably the best spot for him because if you did sort of ask him to maybe fill in the Bryn Forbes role, you're losing the opportunity to see what he can be as a ball handler because you're not necessarily going to take away those ball handling responsibilities from Lonnie Walker, Derek White, or DeJounte Murray for Primo.
The Spurs, I mean, it's one of those things. Spurs fans are I know that we want this team to improve, and we've seen DeJounte Murray, and what you don't want is for them to be turned off by this whole franchise. And I want this team to get better, but they have to get better through the draft. And I'm taking a look at the Spurs schedule right now. It's not looking pretty, man. The Spurs have a road game against the Houston Rockets, which is winnable, but again, they lost to the Rockets recently. Then they host John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Very tough team.
That's less winnable.
Then we host the Bulls. So DeMar DeRozan coming back.
No Caruso and no Lonzo Ball, so that could help out.
On the road against Phoenix, and then home against Golden State, Miami, and Houston, and then the rodeo road trip. 8 games in a row on the road. It's going to be tough, man. I mean, 9 wins away, right? How many wins does Pop need?
9. Yeah, I think he's 4 away from tying Lenny Wilkins as well.
It's going to be close.
I think he gets it in March.
You know what?
I've lowered expectations because
a beer bet.
A beer bet. Okay.
A beer bet. April 1. He hasn't won it yet. He hasn't beaten that record yet.
I will do the beer bet. I'd say that they hit the Vegas over by April 5th.
April 5th. Well, I'll give you all the way. I'll give you after April, or you say April 5th.
Yeah, they should already. That would be the Vegas over under was 28.5. So Pop would already have the record by April 5th. Okay, so April 1st. Yeah, let's go ahead and go with that. I don't know their schedule off the top of my head that far ahead. I barely know my own schedule at that point.
Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, we do sports, pop culture, nostalgia here at halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star. We're going until 2 o'clock when we come back. Let's go over the spreads, man. The spreads are out for the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game. We'll also be talking about the games that we didn't talk about earlier, which is the Green Bay game and the Cincinnati game. We'll talk about that at 1 o'clock. At 1:30, should we uncancel Nickelback? This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's the NBA. Catch every score.
He knocks it down.
Every block.
Pass it home.
Listen for the latest on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The San Antonio Spurs fell to the Philadelphia 76ers last night, 115-109. Joel Embiid went off for 38 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists for Philadelphia, while Jakob Poeltl had 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks for San Antonio. The Dallas Mavericks picked up a win against the Memphis Grizzlies, 104-91. Luka Doncic finished with 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists in a duel with Ja Morant, who countered with 35 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. In the G League, the Austin Spurs lost in Birmingham to the Squadron, 113-106. Josh Primo was on assignment from San Antonio and had a career-high 24 points with 4 assists and 3 rebounds. Spurs two-way player Devontae Cacok had his 14th straight double-double with 14 points and 18 rebounds. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Karl Schoening.
It's totally normal to be constipated with belly pain, straining, and bloating again and again.
No way. You could have a chronic condition called irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives to help relieve belly pain and let you have more frequent and complete bowel movements. Individual results may vary. Do not give to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor today. You may be able to save on Linzess and make fewer trips to the pharmacy. See if you're eligible to pay as little as $30 for 90 days. Visit linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug. Don't you just love the smell of old books?
Shh, this is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
He really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. When you order your Walgreens prescriptions with same-day delivery, it's possible you'll experience some side effects. Side effects may include joy, that you won't run out of your pills, and disbelief at just how crazy fast the delivery came right to your door. Get your same-day prescription refill today on the Walgreens app.
To use same-day RX delivery or 1 to 2 business day delivery, you must be opted into prescription status alerts. It will appear as an option if orders before that store's cutoff time for the day. Certain health plans do not cover or participate in same-day RX delivery. Check with your health plan for further details. Excludes California.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
R&R in the morning with Rob Thompson and Rudy J.
Light rail system, gleaming skyscrapers, but somehow the same morning DJs.
It's your morning sports protein shake tomorrow morning at 7. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Joe Reinigle. Drive home with Jason Minix and me today at 4, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Another reminder, we're moving to 103.3 beginning on February 1st. My name's Michael Jimenez with Karl Schoening. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Eddie is reaching out to us right now, wants to talk Spurs. What's going on, Eddie?
Hey, just want to say real quick, though, I love the show, and you're definitely like an acquired taste, because at first I wasn't sure about the show, and now you've actually become one of my favorite shows during the day.
Appreciate that.
Awesome. But yeah, I'm a diehard Spurs fan, man, for over 25, 30 years now. So I sit through every game and suffer through it this season. I just think that there's two guys all season that have been phenomenal, which is DeJounte and Jakob. I think Jakob gets absolutely no love. Everybody else there's not enough talent, and Lonnie and Derek are completely inconsistent. They haven't been consistent at all. I think Keldon, it's a shame, because I really thought that the experience of him with with Pop in the Summer Olympics around all those guys would really, get him to take that next leap over this season. And it's just, there's two guys, and that's DeJounte and Jakob. Other than that, everyone else can go. I don't know what you think about that.
Now, Eddie, what are you cheering for right now? Do you want the Spurs to go for that 10th spot to try to get in the play-in tournament? Or do you want the Spurs to somehow get a top 5, top 6 pick in the draft, which would require them to keep losing?
You know what? At first, I was excited, about this young squad, and I still am. And I was actually hoping that they would get that play-in spot. But for what? I mean, possibly just to get swept in the first round. There's no point. At this point, yes, I'm just hoping they get a top 5 draft pick.
Outstanding. Hey, Eddie, thank you for calling in, man. Great call. Karl, I'm an acquired taste, my man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put that down on my business card. I like it. I mean, he's basically saying that I'm warming up to him.
I don't know if I'd put it on a business card.
I mean, think about other acquired tastes.
Liver?
No, I mean, there's good things out there that are acquired tastes. Beer is an acquired taste. Whiskey is an acquired taste.
Yeah.
It tastes awful the first time you have it, but now every time you go to the bar, you want to have one, right? I mean, I know I do. Think about it. Beer tastes disgusting, but beer is also delicious at the very same time.
There are beers, and I won't say them for sake of potential sponsorship down the line, that I will not drink unless paid to drink, or if it's free and I'll give it a shot. But I wouldn't necessarily say that it's fair to qualify beer as an acquired taste in general. Liver's an acquired taste. It's very special.
No one eats liver, man. I mean,
I don't think anyone eats liver anymore either.
Yeah.
What is it? Escargot?
Those are all like rich tastes. I mean, I think the reason why I'm an acquired taste when it comes to sports talk radio is because I stick to an opinion. And sometimes the opinion is not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. And I think that's the problem that people need to come around. So Eddie was talking about how he was rooting for the Spurs to get into the play-in tournament, right? Now, right now, the Spurs are 3.5 games behind Portland for that. And they've got several games to play against Portland between now and the end of the regular season. So they can catch up. But for Eddie to come out and say, man, We're already halfway through the season, beyond the midway point. And now I'm looking at it going, well, why do we want to be in the play-in tournament and get bounced in the first round? Why not try to get the best draft pick we can get? Because again, the Spurs do a very good job with scouting. They will pick the right player if the Spurs are picking at 2 or at 5 or wherever they land. The Spurs will get the best player. I have all the faith in the world that they will do that. But more and more fans are looking at it my way. The thing is that I've been looking at it this way since November. And now more and more people are going, you know what? Mike might be right. So maybe I'm an acquired taste.
I get where you're coming from on that. And it is acquired taste to say, you're basically cheering for your team to lose. And that's kind of where you're at.
And that's not it, man. Because when I watch the game, my reaction is I want this team to win. When I was watching that game against the Sixers last night, I wasn't hoping that they would lose. I was just there going, come on, Spurs, come on. You're within 4 points. Come on, Spurs. I don't want you to think that I'm over there kind of like, they lost. I'm not evil laugh in the background. I'm a Spurs fan. I want them to win. But the fact of the matter is that if they lose, their chances of winning the lottery go up. And we have a history of that. We have a history of doing well in the lottery. Where did David Robinson come from? Could the Spurs have gotten David Robinson with the 7th pick in the draft? No, he was the number 1 pick. Could the Spurs have gotten Sean Elliott with the number 7 pick in the draft? No, he was the 3rd pick, and he would have been taken by the time the Spurs took him. Same goes for Tim Duncan. He was the number 1 pick. Spurs, think about it this way. The Celtics tried trading the number 3 and 6 pick to the Spurs for that number 1. Philip is on line 1. He wants to talk about the Spurs. What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on, man?
Love the show, man. Love the show.
Are you on Team Tank, or do you want the Spurs to keep trying to win?
I'm on Team Tank, man. I think we're kind of like in the era, like, DeJounte, where DeJounte and Poto are our best players. That doesn't speak so much volume. And just like the last guy who called in, it's a pretty good take as far as Keldon Johnson. I think that Keldon Johnson, I had a lot of hope for him coming out. And for him, I think he's almost taken a step back from last year. So for me, I think going forward, I think the best thing to do is to acquire a top 6 pick, top 5 pick, because I have all the confidence in the world that our scouting staff can pick up a good player within the top 5 or top 6.
Dude, I completely agree with you, man. Appreciate the call. That's a very good point. The thing about Keldon Johnson, though, is that I still have stock in Keldon Johnson. I still think he can take that leap. He is young enough. He's talented enough. One thing that we can say is his 3-point shooting has dramatically increased this year. And because of that, I have confidence that he can take it to another level. I'm shocked, pleasantly shocked and surprised at the leap that DeJounte Murray took this year. I knew he had more in him, but I didn't think he had this much more in him. And he's just entering his prime. So I like DeJounte Murray. I like Keldon Johnson on this team. I like Jakob Poeltl. But we need to fill in the rest, man, because I'm not a believer in Lonnie Walker. I'm not a believer in Derek White. I'm not a believer in a lot of this team. We really only have 4 or 5 pieces, man. And the fact of the matter is that everybody else is replaceable. David is on line 2, wants to talk about the Spurs. What's going on, my man?
Hey, acquired taste. How you doing today, bro?
David, I'm doing great, man. Doing awesome.
Hey, I'm so glad that guy started us up on that, because, man, the biggest tear in everything in this is I'm the other way still. I believe in everything he said, and I still think that Lonnie is I just see something in Lonnie. He's got so many flashes that are just nobody can touch when he does do a fly from the top of the key and slam it. Yeah, he can't hit a jumper from 2 foot out still. But so take what you just talked about a step farther. You say, everybody, we need to fill the other holes, and I'll hang up. Who do you really think's expendable? And you have a good day, bro, and you're doing a good job, man. We're all proud of the way you're moving up the ladder for all of us. We really like listening to you in the afternoon.
I appreciate it, David. Really do appreciate it, man. Thank you for the call. The thing about the Spurs right now, Lonnie Walker had this one move yesterday where he did this scoop. It was a weird play. He was on the right side. He was on the right baseline, right side of the baseline, kind of came in And he did this scoop, an underhanded, it wasn't a layup, it wasn't a jump shot, it was just a scoop. And he did it from like 7 or 8 feet and it went in. And I was thinking to myself, there's not a lot of players out there that can actually be as physically talented as he is on that particular shot. We saw what he did to beat Utah at the buzzer. Lonnie Walker is a physical specimen. I mean, he is very, very talented. The problem I have with Lonnie Walker is I think he's on the wrong team. And that's the sad fact, is that I think that he's going to go to a different team and actually do better than he did with the Spurs. And it might not be a Lonnie Walker thing. It might not be a Spurs thing. I mean, sometimes players play better for different systems. And I don't think Lonnie Walker is part of this system. Still having an issue with Derek White, man. I'm sorry. I know a lot of Spurs fans out there are really big on Derek White and they're a fan of his because he draws a lot of charges. He plays really, really good defense. A lot of people think that he can make one of those all defensive teams, and it's possible. But the fact of the matter is that he shoots 29% from 3. And in the year 2022, your shooting guard cannot be shooting 29% from 3. 29% is not bad. Terrible would be 32%. He's awful. He is god awful at 3-point shooting. In the year 2022, Derek White would have been a great shooting guard in the 80s. Would have been a decent shooting guard in the 90s. Right now, he's a very, very, very good backup who is playing starter minutes for the Spurs, and I'm not a big fan of Derek White, and I apologize. Maybe I'm an acquired taste because I've been saying that for a long time, and people hate me for that. But I'm sure he's a great guy. I like the commercials, and he plays good defense, but he's expendable. Everybody on this team is expendable except for DeJounte Murray, to be honest with you. But I still like Jakob on the team. I still like what the Spurs have with Joshua Primo. That was an interesting pick, and I'm not saying that it was the best pick, but it's not a bad pick. I'm still rolling with it, man. But we have more to come. We have people waiting on the lines. Feel free to call in 656 ESPN. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. We have another hour of halftime. We'll be breaking down the Packers and 49ers game, breaking down what happened in the Tennessee-Cincinnati matchup. Also have the spreads for the AFC and NFC championship game. Call, talk to us about the Spurs, talk to us about the NFL playoffs. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's time to get your hoops on. The NBA season is off to a fast start.
North, south, east, west. Step back for 3. Bang, got it.
The courts are firing with board busting and rim wrecking in your face balling.
Deep 3 straight away. Oh, we got another one.
And we got it all covered. Everything a fan like you wants, and then some.
Hammers a right-hand dunk.
Get the latest on your game on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
That dinner was delicious. What's next?
I'm thinking just the check.
Do you frequently have gas, bloating, diarrhea, stomach pain, or loose oily stools after eating? One or more of these symptoms could be a sign of exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, and it may be time to talk to your doctor.
If you have EPI, Creon may be right for you. Creon, pancrelipase, is an oral prescription medication that treats EPI. Creon replaces enzymes you may be missing to help you break down food properly.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Do not chew capsules or contents as this may cause mouth irritation. Tell your doctor if you have unusual or severe stomach pain, bloating, trouble passing stool, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, worsening of painful swollen joints, or allergic reactions. Other side effects may include changes in blood sugars, gas, dizziness, or sore throat and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Talk to your doctor about Creon, the #1 prescribed EPI treatment, and visit gocreon.com. That's GOCREON.com. Or call 1-800-633-9110.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
If you've struggled with dental problems all your life, you need Dr. Mark Havercorn at River City Oral Surgery. Have you had cavities followed by fillings, more fillings, root canals, and crowns, only to have the pain come back? You know what I'm talking about. Stop spending lots of money at the dentist every few years only to have it fail. Dental implants at River City Oral Surgery could be the solution. River City Oral Surgery offers direct patient care, and prices are listed on the website, rivercityoms.com. $1,300 per dental implant, includes exam, x-ray, and post-op care. $20,900 to replace all the teeth in one jaw with implant teeth, including everything from start to finish. Need a tooth pulled? It's $325. For wisdom teeth removed, that's $1,000. Financing is available. You don't need a referral. Just call and make an appointment. Imagine no more tooth pain. Call 210-778-0002 for River City Oral Surgery. Online at rivercityoms.com.
Hello, my name is Jason Thompson, owner of the Thompson Law Firm right here in San Antonio. And for the past 27 years, I have represented people in our community who have been injured because of negligent drivers of cars, 18-wheelers, and company vehicles. I really want you to know that if you're involved in a collision, you need to contact an experienced attorney as soon as possible after the collision. All you may know about an insurance company is what you see on television. If you have ever been forced to make a claim after being injured in an auto collision, there are no jokes, no geckos, no cavemen, no professional athlete endorsers. Just you against a giant insurance company that is represented by skilled adjusters and attorneys who have one job: pay as little as possible. If you've been injured in a collision, please contact an experienced attorney as soon as possible after the collision. I, of course, want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website, alawyerforus.com. That's all one word, alawyerforus.com.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
It's hour number 2 of halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name's Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2. Karl Schoening is my co-pilot today, producing the show and my co-host. You know, last segment, someone called me an acquired taste. And I saw a pledger in the hallway. I was like, man, I like that. I'll take that as a compliment.
Acquired taste usually has a positive connotation.
Yeah, that means that they like it now. They didn't like it at first, but they like it now. But halftime again goes from 12 to 2. We talk sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. What do you want to talk about, man? Want to talk about the Spurs? Want to talk about the NFL playoffs? I mean, man, the lines are open. Let's talk about it, man. But man, watching those games this weekend, going into the Kansas City Buffalo game, I thought there was no way in the world that game was going to be better than the 3 before it, but it was an incredible way to end the weekend. But the games before that, though, were just as incredible. And I tell you what, I've been saying this on halftime probably since about Thanksgiving, that I was a big believer in the Cincinnati Bengals. So those of you who've been watching the show, listening to this show, know I've been talking about the Bengals for a long, long time because they have a big-time quarterback in Joe Burrow, because they have a big-time running back in Joe Mixon, stud receivers Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. Now, the defense, questionable. Sometimes they play well defensively. Sometimes they get a lot of takeaways. Other times they give up a lot of yards. That's kind of the one thing that's kind of a little suspect about the Cincinnati Bengals. But I tell you what, everyone's writing them off. Everyone's saying, man, Kansas City's going back to the Super Bowl. Book it. Easy win. Easy win. Because right now, if I had to go to Vegas right now and bet on this game, I'm leaning towards the Bengals, man. I think the Bengals have a very, very good shot of winning this game because, again, offensively, they do very, very well. Offensively, they can withstand certain things. Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times and won that game. Think about that. He was sacked 9 times and did not get happy feet. He stood in the pocket despite past injuries. He stood in the pocket and kept going. Cincinnati beat the Tennessee Titans 19-16 in Nashville. And the weird thing about it is that people are talking about, oh, well, this is because Ryan Tannehill blew this game. Now, don't get me wrong. He did throw that interception with under a minute to go that led to the game-winning field goal. But make no mistake, man, this was all about Joe Burrow. This was all about this defense bending but not breaking. This was all about that kicker. Evan McPherson, my man, goes out there and nails the game winner from beyond 50 yards. And after the game, Joe Burrow talked about his interaction with McPherson, a rookie, before that kick.
How nice is it to have a kicker like Evan McPherson?
Oh, that guy's unbelievable. He said, so he was talking to Brandon as he was going out to kick. He gave a little warm-up swing, and he said, it looks like we're going to the AFC Championship. Right?
Wow. That's a 22-year-old rookie in Evan McPherson. The Cowboy fans must be furious about this because they complain about Greg Zuerlein all year long. Meantime, Cincinnati has a big-time quarterback who won a national championship with LSU. He led the LSU Tigers to that victory. So he knows how to win on the big stage. But to have a kicker who has no problem going out there and nailing a 50-yarder to win a game when all eyes are on him, and he's a rookie from Florida, who, by the way, the Bengals drafted. Okay, a lot of teams don't get their kickers in the draft. They wait to see who's available after the draft because very few kickers get picked. The Bengals on Twitter, on their official account, said this is why you pick your kicker in the draft. That guy, I mean, who's cockier, Karl, right now? Joe Burrow or kicker Evan McPherson?
Evan McPherson, because as a kicker, you have to be cocky. Yeah, as a quarterback, you have to be confident, but as a kicker, you need to be in your own world. In fact, to the point that I think Jake Spavital said, I don't talk to kickers. Just let them be. Let them do their thing, and that usually helps out in their process. Like Duplessis down here at UTSA,
yeah,
he's worth the draft pick. But if you ever just see him followed around, they followed him around with the camera one time. They're in their own world. They have to be, and they're that confident that they're not going to miss because they need that confidence.
They need that confidence, but not all kickers are confident. I don't think that Zuerlein was very confident this year. But, man, Evan McPherson against the Raiders was knocking down 4 field goals as well. So I will let you know this. I have McPherson as my kicker in the playoff fantasy league that I'm in, so I'm super excited about that. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. We're going to be talking about the Packers and Niners in a moment, but first, Jerry is on the line on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, wants to talk about the Spurs. What's going on, dude?
Hey, man, just want to say I'm on your side with the whole season, with the tank. I'm a numbers guy, and realistically, it doesn't look like they'll even get to that 10th spot. So last 10 games, 2-8, everybody that's in that 7 through 10 is playing like 500 ball or better. And just looking at the last, seems like 30 games left in the season. The way they're going, I don't think they have a shot to get in there. So I'm just starting to watch some college ball and see who's out there.
Hey, you know what, Jerry? Appreciate the phone call. People are watching. Spurs fans are now watching college basketball going, okay, man. All right, if we're losing, who's this Paolo Banchero again from Duke? Who's this Jabari Smith?
You know, that's nice. Every year it's nice to get a top 5 pick, but I don't think too many people can name outside the top 3 who the best players are.
I mean, but now more and more people are going to be watching Auburn basketball for Jabari Smith. Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga. You know, one person who won't be watching Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga is John Stockton, who got his tickets revoked from that team. A different story, different day, but you can Google that. John Stockton, Gonzaga great, is no longer allowed into Gonzaga basketball games because he won't wear a mask. That's just basically it. But Jerry brought up a point where he said that the math just isn't there. Now, although I've been advocating Team Tank for a long time, the fact of the matter is that about 3 weeks ago, I was perfectly happy with the Spurs going after the play-in tournament. They had won 4 games in a row. They appeared to be turning the corner, but then the wheels came off because of COVID. And so many players were out. Vassell was out, and Derek White was out, and Keldon Johnson was out. And for a while earlier before that, DeJounte was out. And that ended the season right there. The season ended because of COVID and because of that outbreak and because they had to wait for reconditioning. That ended the season. At that point, the Spurs right now, the math says, go for the pick, man. Go for the pick. And there's a big difference between having the 5th worst record in the league and the 7th worst record in the league. You're going from a 40% chance or higher of getting into the top 4 compared to, maybe a 28 to 27% chance. And there's a big difference between the two. And the Spurs, I hate to say it, are going to be racking up a lot of L's, whether or not you want them to win or not. Fact of the matter is the road trip's coming up. That's 8 road games in a row. The Spurs have the home games that they have coming up, like against Chicago. That's not going to be easy. So it's just one of those things where, I think Spurs fans turned the corner this past weekend and then just realized that it's time to go towards the draft. But man, watch these players in college, man. There's a lot out there. Great website called Tankathon. They talk about the comparisons. NBA Draft Central is another good website talking about the comparisons of those players. Around the 1:30 hour. We'll 1:30 time frame. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. But let's talk more about the NFL. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. Talk about Spurs. Talk about the NFL. Talk Cowboys if you want. Let's just have a nice conversation. But man, speaking of the Cowboys, someone asked me earlier which was worse, the Cowboys getting bounced by the Niners, or would it be worse to be a Green Bay Packer fan right now, like my next door neighbor? Huge Green Bay Packer fan. He wears Packers gear every day. And I can just imagine what it's like for him to go into this season knowing that they were the 1 seed, going to the postseason, knowing that they were the 1 seed, and then just get eliminated 1 and out. I mean, that was supposed to be the ice cold, the 10-degree weather was supposed to be an advantage for the Green Bay Packers. But the Niners went in there and kept it close. Were you surprised that the Niners won this game?
Yes, obviously, because I thought the thing that was more surprising was that Rodgers only put up 10 points.
Yeah.
And I know that Rudy J was kind of defending him this morning, but at the same time, if you're the MVP, I think that you need to put up at least 21 points in a playoff game.
Yeah, I agree.
And in that particular case, Lambeau Field, it's your home field, so thus you should be able to score at your home field no matter what the conditions are. And in that particular, yesterday's game, or two, I guess it was Saturday's game. Saturday's game, Aaron Rodgers just wasn't the player that you expected him to be. And he deserves all of the, criticism coming his way because he's kind of been a jerk all season long. And, that's where there were even rumors that he was going to boycott the Super Bowl if he made it that far over COVID issues. And I guess now we'll never know.
We will never know. And the thing about Aaron Rodgers is that he might be the most talented quarterback of all time, but he's not the greatest quarterback of all time. Two different things. I mean, greatness comes with rings. Mm-hmm. Talent comes and goes. I mean, it's you take a look at it. Wilt Chamberlain was probably more talented than Bill Russell, but Bill Russell's greater because he has the rings. That's just how it works, man. And you take a look at what's going on right there with Aaron Rodgers. It's been 12 years, man, since he's won a Super Bowl. That's a long time. People make it sound like he's in the Super Bowl every year, or that he always wins, or that it was a foregone conclusion that the Packers were going to actually make it to the big game. It wasn't a foregone conclusion because them losing and punking out like this happens. It happens more often than not. And right now, what I think is going on, and we're seeing this more and more, is that there's a changing in the guard when it comes to quarterback play. Because it used to be Because right now you're going to see the top two for the MVP is going to be Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. But you can't tell me that those are the two best quarterbacks in football right now. You can't. Because I can look at Mahomes and make that argument. I can look at Josh Allen and make that argument. More and more, I can look at Joe Burrow and say, you know what? Joe Burrow has a lot of Tom Brady in him. I wouldn't mind Joe Burrow. It's interesting seeing this evolution. And then Matthew Stafford trying to reinvent his career and basically reset it by going to the Rams and leading them to the second round. Now the Rams are playing the Niners in the NFC Championship game. The Niners have beaten them twice this year. And somehow the Rams are favored by 3.5. The Vegas lines are out. 3.5. Call the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines at 656 ESPN. Do you think the Bengals have a chance against the Chiefs? And do you think the Rams can somehow beat the Niners? Now they're playing at home, right? But we saw this a few weeks ago. The San Francisco 49ers do not belong in the playoffs. They were minutes away from being knocked out, and that's the New Orleans Saints were going to get that spot. We're going to get the 7th spot, and the Eagles would have jumped up to 6. But the Rams blew that game to the Niners at SoFi. The Niners won that game in overtime in the last game of the regular season. So the Niners have beaten them twice. But we saw this last year. The New Orleans Saints beat the Bucs twice in the regular season, but the Bucs won in the playoffs when it counted. So it's so interesting taking a look at this because we talk about this being a home game at SoFi for the Rams, but just a few weeks ago when they played the Niners, it was a sea of red in the stands. We saw that against the Cowboys. There were a lot of Niner fans in the stands at Jerry World. It's going to be even worse in LA. I would say this, Karl, and do you agree with me on this? That's going to be a home game for the Niners. There will be more Niner fans at SoFi in LA than Rams fans.
I'd go even further and say there's more 49ers fans in LA than Rams fans because they're the more established team in California. There are not that many LA Rams fans left over from the 70s that are in LA versus, maybe people that grew up in California during this, last 40 years wanted to pick a California team and obviously don't have any ties to the Chargers or the Rams, so they've probably picked the 49ers. That'd be my guess, is that LA is more 49er fans than Rams fans.
I can see that because you're saying that they're more established, and that's the thing. I mean, the Rams were there originally, and then they went to St. Louis, and they came back. I mean, LA just has a hard time holding on to football teams, but these guys are going to be around because of those stadiums and whatnot for the next 20-plus years. But the Rams, it's funny. You could pack them with people who are not cheering for the Niners, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be diehard fans screaming out there. But, man, I'm taking a look at the spreads right now. Again, the Rams are favored by 3.5. The over-under only 46.5. That's a low-scoring game. Vegas predicts a low-scoring game in the NFC Championship game. And I think that the Cincinnati Bengals are getting some love from Vegas right now. I think the Bengals, because come on, man, who do you think would be favored, right? You would say, of course, Kansas City is going to be favored over Cincinnati. But I would have thought it would have been 9.5 points. If you had asked me just the way that Vegas works, I would have thought 9.5. But right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are only favored by 7 points at Arrowhead against the Bengals. Do the Bengals, Karl, have any chance of winning this game?
Only if they score a lot of points, because I want to say going back to even his Texas Tech days, when his defense holds the opponents to under 25 points, though I want to say Mahomes only has 2 losses in his career since college. So that's going to be the key. If you can, obviously outscore, but you have to score more than, I would say, almost 30 points, because in the minimum 5 game starts, Patrick Mahomes has a NFL playoff record of points per game somewhere in the 30s. It was 32 going into last night.
Now, what if I told you this, Karl, that I can prove to you that the Bengals can win this game? Because just 3 weeks ago, the Bengals did beat Kansas City in the regular season. 34-31. Now, they played in Cincinnati. They played in Cincinnati. Kansas City was winning that game 21-7 early in the second quarter. The Bengals came back to win. Joe Burrow in that game threw for 446 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jamar Chase went off for 266 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. I'm sorry, but the Bengals have the offense that can take it to the Chiefs. Everyone thinking it's a foregone conclusion that the Chiefs are going to make it to the Super Bowl again are wrong. This is going to be a closer game than most people think, and I'm sorry. If I'm betting right now, I bet you I can get plus 230, 250 that the Bengals win this game. Yeah. Oh, my God. Time to get the Bovada account out, baby. Bet US.
If you're a gambler, this probably means more to you than the meaningless stat I'm about to throw out.
Tell me.
But 4 previous times, the Chiefs and the Bills have met in the playoffs, and the winner would go on to lose the Super Bowl. So if you believe in oddities of the Matrix, the Chiefs are going to lose in the Super Bowl. That's all I know.
The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open. That's where we find Gabriel. Wants to talk about that Titans-Bengals game. What's going on, my man?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Hi, Karl. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the game. I agree. Sorry, I'm rolling up a door there. I agree with you, though. I think the Bengals do have a chance. I only watched 2 games, but I watched the Bengals game. And one of the things that they never do, or it's always the last thing you hear about, is the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about the defensive line, and they were getting a lot of credit for what they were doing. The only question I would have is that did Derrick Henry actually hurt the Tennessee Titans' run game when he came back? Because he disrupted their rhythm, and they were running a different style of run before Henry. And so when they play the Chiefs, that's going to be a concern because they'll be playing the Tennessee Titans team that they were supposed to play. And that's all I have for you. Thanks. I love the show, Mike.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call, Gabriel. You know, that's interesting because Derrick Henry, you couldn't keep him out of the game. I mean, that is the best running back in all the NFL. That dude is a complete stud, but he got hurt on Halloween night. So it had been 2.5 months since he had last played an NFL game. They brought him in. He didn't look bad, man. I mean, it's not like he was as great as he normally is, but the Bengals kind of kept him in check. You know, Derrick Henry had 20 rushes for 62 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's not a normal Derrick Henry game, but the Bengals did what they needed to do, and they were bringing him down. You know, it's very rare that Derrick Henry gets taken down by the first defender, but he was being taken down by the first defender repeatedly in this past game. But man, Bengals Chiefs AFC Championship game again. The Bengals beat them in the regular season just 3 weeks ago. Bengals are the underdog by 7. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, the Bengals are for real. Joe Burrow, I believe. And now I look at it from a Cowboy fan's perspective. I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I look at it from their perspective. The days of Dak Prescott is a top 3, top 4 quarterback, no more. Not until he proves it in the playoffs.
When was he ever considered top 4?
Well, I mean, people thought it.
Wow.
And people thought it.
Cowboys fans drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay.
Well, I mean, a lot of people drank the Kool-Aid. I mean, there's not a lot of quarterbacks out there that can throw for around 5,000 yards. I mean, he was putting up the stats to show that he is, capable of leading a team to a top offense. He had the weapons, Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. But one of the things that we're seeing here, and this is where we talk about elite play, what we're seeing is that the quarterbacks who are elite get the ball to the guys that they want, regardless of what the defense is doing. They will find a way. They will find a way. Mahomes will somehow find Tyreek Hill. Somehow. And by the way, that's the fastest guy I've ever seen play football. That guy's amazing. He will find Kelsey when he needs to find Kelsey. And Burrow will find Chase or Higgins when he needs to. And Stafford, somehow Cooper Kupp was wide open in the middle of the field for a bomb to get them that go-ahead field goal, to the winning field goal. The elite quarterbacks will find a way to get it to their guys. And even the ones that lost, Tom Brady was finding his way in the second half. He was getting into who he wanted. If he wanted Scotty Miller, he got Scotty Miller yesterday. But man, what a great week. Speaking of a great week of football, again, I put the poll out there on Twitter. I'm at Mike ESPN SA. Karl's at Karl ESPN, Karl with a K. I asked the question, was this weekend's football game better than sex? Only 40% say yes. A little disappointed. It was a jokey poll. I mean, it's a joke. But again, a lot of people are saying, well, it depends on who you're cheering for. Because again, if their team had won, if you were a Bills fan and they had won, you would have said yes. But you're saying no because the Chiefs won that game.
Yeah, you're a Saints fan, so you didn't have any dogs in this hunt anywhere. So you could just enjoy it as a football fan.
That was the best part. Is that I was hoping for two of these games to be very good. And when the first one happened, I was like, hey, all right, we're 1 for 1. Then we went 2 for 2, 3 for 3. No way in the world it was going to be 4 for 4. And no way in the world the Buffalo Bills and Chiefs could top the other three. And it did. And it's absolutely amazing.
And Pledger called it in our group text. I was jokingly saying, all right, time for Spurs. And he was like, no, Bills Chiefs is the game of the weekend. And this was after everything that had happened. So, kudos to Pledge for calling that the game of the weekend after those three monster games and being right.
I agree. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN, 656 ESPN. When we come back, we'll talk some pop culture, some more sports. Hey, if you want to talk about the Spurs, you want to talk about these NFL matchups, AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, let's get it going. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines open at 656 ESPN. This is halftime. We go till 2 o'clock on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I can't wait to watch you guys play!
We're ready for y'all.
Let's go!
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.
Let's go! Let's go!
Are you ready?
You gotta go out there every play and earn it!
Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star.
I like it!
We're serving up all the biggest games you can handle.
Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3, dominate!
Get all the action live on San Antonio Sports Star.
180! Wait up!
ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Carrie, we need that tax report by tomorrow. Hey, Bobby, give me that expenses.
For Hari's accounting firm, client growth is exponential.
I know we're a couple of accountants short.
He needs whip-smart accountants at whiplash speed.
Hey, so why aren't these receivables matching up?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A new year comes with new excitement, new ambitions, new milestones. Is this the year you pop the question, have a child? Celebrate a major anniversary. At Diamonds Direct, we're here for you, now more than ever. With our vast selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds, our world-renowned designer jewelry collections, our industry-leading warranties and guarantees, and our people. People with a passion for helping you mark any occasion with something that's both meaningful and timeless. And our commitment to providing exceptional value is stronger than ever in the new year. Whether you're just starting out on a tight budget or whether you're splurging on that 30th anniversary gift, Diamonds Direct will make sure you get the price that you expect from America's premier direct diamond importer. Welcome to a new year and welcome to Diamonds Direct, where extreme value combines with the ultimate luxury shopping experience to create that truly magical moment for the milestones in your life. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Contaire.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmett's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today. 571-0318.
This is Jerry Jones, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man. I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling. And this is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of what I really am.
All right. This is an oldie, but is it a goodie? How You Remind Me by Nickelback was #1 in the United States 20 years ago today. It topped the mainstream top 40 on Billboard. And people hate Nickelback now. It's amazing to think back about it. And Karl, you're a young guy. You don't recognize any of this, do you?
No, I remember Nickelback. In fact, this video that I'm playing it off of has 108 million views.
Yeah.
This was a viral song, and this was a music video to it that we're listening to. But, you know, Nickelback has a good handful of songs. Were they the ones who made Photograph?
Yes.
I think they were Photographed.
Rockstar was another one.
They had a lot of songs that were on the radio when I was growing up and listening to like top 40 radio songs.
Trivia question. Who is the singer, Chad Kroeger? Who is his ex-wife?
I don't know.
Avril Lavigne.
Oh, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, both Canadians. Both stars in Canada. But I brought up Nickelback because I like thinking back to nostalgic things, right? Last Friday, we talked about how it's the 25-year anniversary of Jerry Maguire being the #1 movie in America. So I was like, okay, well, musically, let's go back in time. And I saw that How You Remind Me was #1. Not only was it #1, it wasn't #1 for 1 week. It was #1 for 2 whole months, 8 weeks from the early part of January to the early part of March of that year. And Jonathan C. reminds us on YouTube right now that Nickelback had the theme song for Spider-Man called Hero.
I remember that one too.
Okay.
Yeah, there's, what are we talking, like 2000s, maybe 2012 was the last time they were relevant, and then the hate started piling on them.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne Gretzky was in one of their videos for Rockstar, which is a cute song, okay? And by no means would I consider myself a Nickelback fan. So for those of you who are asking this, hey, Jimenez must be a fan of Nickelback. I am not a Nickelback fan, but I'm not going to be quick to change the channel if it's on. I'm kind of relatively indifferent. I do like the Rockstar song. And more importantly, speaking of How You Remind Me, one of the greatest SNL skits that's been done in the last 5 years was done based on this song. So if you Google or YouTube rather, Sterling K. Brown doing How You Remind Me on Saturday Night Live, it was fantastic. It's Melissa Villaseñor is the main character on there, and it's about how she's on her deathbed, but she's a huge Nickelback fan. It is amazingly funny. It's one of their best skits that they've had in a long, long time. But welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. On the go at sasportstar.com. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN in case you want to talk about Nickelback, in case you want to talk about the Spurs or about the NFL playoffs. But man, let's go back to Nickelback. One last thing. Somehow or another, they got canceled. And it wasn't canceled for anything they said or anything that they did. I just think people got tired of them. And they were all over the place.
They were probably the first example of how mean the internet could be. I don't think they were canceled, because canceled usually implies that you did something. And in fact, I remember at the beginning of that song, they got away with something you can't do anymore, where he said something like, I think the line is, tired of living like a black man or something like that.
It's a blind man.
I want to say, is it a blind man?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to say it says, black person in there as well, black man
No,
too.
I
So
think
maybe
it's-
I'm wrong.
I
I'll
think-
double check the lyrics then.
I think he said blind man, or at least that's what I've been singing it all these years. You talk about songs that should be canceled out. Money for Nothing by Money for Nothing. Who sang Money for Nothing? That song right there is completely homophobic.
You're right. It is a blind man. I hear it the other way, but yeah.
Dire Straits, Money for Nothing. That's a song that whenever I hear it on the radio, I'm thinking to myself, why is this still on in 2022? I'm not somebody who likes to easily cancel things, but I know what the lyrics are to that song, man. And even if it's the clean version, why have it on? I don't understand that. But it's funny, Nickelback just got that. It's like everyone decided on one day, we're done with it. We're done with it. And the same thing goes with like disco music. Somewhere around 79, summer of 79, people said, we're done with it. We're absolutely done with it. Jonathan C. on YouTube says, Nickelback is the equivalent of Imagine Dragons. Yeah. I mean, I guess they're not very imaginative, I guess you can say. People say that they're bland, that it's vanilla music, that it's just drones and whatnot. But there have been other bands. Three Doors Down, for some reason, was really big for a good while. And then around 2008, 2009, 2010, right there, everyone just jumped off ship and said, we're not listening to them anymore. It's funny how that works. And it's like that with acting. There's some actors that are huge for like 5, 6, 7 years, and then you don't hear from them again. And I wonder why.
Drake had a line in one of his first albums. It was the track was Thank Me Now. He said, how long they choose to love you will never be your decision.
Exactly. Sugar Ray back in the day had one of the greatest album titles of all time. James Pledge and I talk about it all the time. It was called 1459. It's like they knew that this was the last time they were going to be relevant. And Mark McGrath, the singer, ended up going out and becoming, I don't know, is it with Extra or Inside Edition or one of those. He does, correspondent work, but it's just interesting how that all happens.
Really?
Yeah.
You went from being the lead singer of a rock band to being a correspondent on a news network?
Yeah.
Wow. Good
Yeah.
for him. That's not a pivot most people make.
It isn't, man. But you know what's funny? Sugar Ray, I hadn't heard them in like 10 or 15 years. And a song came out on Pandora. It's funny. You have like Spotify where you pick the song and Pandora where you pick the radio station. And the thing is that Sugar Ray came on and multiple songs came on. I was like, you know what? This wasn't that bad. I just stopped listening to them after a while. Hey, cool dad moment that I had this past weekend. My daughter and I went to Guitar Center. We're next to North Star Mall. And I wanted to introduce her to music and she likes music, but I want to introduce her to instruments. And we walked in, dude, she was like, oh my God, look at all of this. And we looked at the pianos and we looked at the guitars and drums. And I was just like, whatever you want. Whatever you want, I want you to pick an instrument and I want you to get better at it. And as time goes on, I'll tell people what instrument that was that she chose. But but lessons begin on Saturday. And it got me thinking because I was looking around going, can I at age 44 learn a new instrument? I played trumpet in middle school and high school, combined 5 years. So I know how to read music, but I'm asking myself out there, can I learn how to play drums? Can I learn how to play electric guitar? And they have lessons there, and I'm seriously considering doing it. Because I think that'd be so cool to pick up an instrument again. Do you have an instrument that you play?
I have an electric guitar. I purchased the program. There's a program where you can connect your 1/4 inch out on your electric guitar into a USB on your, my case, the PlayStation 4 called Rocksmith. And I learned a little bit of how to play the guitar there, but Guitar Hero gave me expectations that it would be much easier to learn than it really was. It is hard to learn electric guitar. You actually have to play the guitar so much that the metal strings start to callous your fingers, and then you have a better handle on how to get to the frets because A, muscle memory, but B, the tougher skin gives you a bit more control of that tough material. So I never got to that point where my fingertips were calloused by the guitar strings because it was hard.
I want to talk more about this. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. Rudolph Renee says that as a teacher of skills, of course you can learn, Mike. I hope so. Like I said, I have the background. I know how to read music. So I think that comes to, I mean, I think it would help a little bit, but man, going to Guitar Center, that place is amazing. It's just so fun going in there and seeing people play drums and seeing people with the pianos and the DJ equipment and the ukuleles and the acoustic guitars. But it was so interesting, and I really asked my daughter to go out there and pick an instrument because I believe that people are more well-rounded if they know how to play music because they do better in math historically. They can make friends like in middle school and high school, and it also helps with confidence. And so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that she chooses wisely. But we'll be doing something this weekend, some sort of lesson, I'm sure. But man, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. People have reached out to me on Twitter. Ray Mendez says that he was one of the ones who thought that Dak Prescott was top 5, but now he knows for sure that he is not. Amazing. I asked the question on Twitter. This weekend's games, collectively, better than sex, yes or no? One guy responds back, no, the only thing better than sex is making a lot of money. Makes sense to me. But, we have this guy who's been reaching out to me. His name is Wayne. And he's been reaching out to me, making fun of the fact that I talked about the movie Blockers last week. I think it was on Friday. And I said that Blockers was the best comedy since 2012. That comedies have gone to crap since around 2012. And he's been giving me grief about it. And I'm happy. I love reading your tweets, by the way, at me. It shows that I'm loved and that I'm an acquired taste, right? But he's been reaching out to me saying, Ben Stiller's Dodgeball is better than Blockers, man. Easy.
Ooh, I haven't seen Blockers, but that is a good call. I like me some Dodgeball.
But my response is that movie was from 2004.
Oh, yep. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Dodgeball was 04?
Was 04.
Man,
so
time flies.
I'm looking at it and Google best comedies of the 2010s, right? Boteo Franklin says Blockers is very underrated and it's very funny. I'm going over the best movies according to IMDb and all off of the best movies, right? So here are the list that they say are the best comedies of the 2010s. Ocean 8, The Gentleman, The Heat, Tag, Bad Moms, Blockers, Yes, God, Yes, War Dogs. I don't consider War Dogs a comedy. It's a funny movie, but it's not a comedy. Goon, Tall Girl, Trainwreck, The Watch, Hot Tub Time Machine Part 2. Bridesmaids was really good, but that's 2011. Ted was good, but that was 2012. I'm going back in time. Knives Out. Yeah, I agree. Here, dude. Game Night. The Hitman's Bodyguard.
I never saw those last 3.
Central Intelligence. Yeah, I stand by it.
I Spy?
Yeah, Blockers is the best comedy since 2012. Now, if you want to say Bad Moms, I would respect that. But that just shows you how bad comedies are right now because of political correctness and because of a lot of different things. So that's why I was really excited to see Blockers. By the way, I saw a movie this past weekend on Netflix called Walk of Shame. I had never heard of that movie. And Walk of Shame, I was like, man, this is a great movie. This is a funny movie. This has to be a new movie because I've never heard of it before. But it was from 2014. I couldn't believe it. Elizabeth Banks stars in that movie. And I love Elizabeth Banks.
Did you ever see This Is the End by chance?
Dude, you know what? I might stand corrected because that is one movie I have not seen, and everyone tells me I should watch that movie.
I think you would get a kick out of it. And there's a couple I have at the tip of my tongue, but I woke up at 3, and we're coming up on the edge of my memory. So I'll have it written down for you a little later. But This Is the End was really good. If you like Danny McBride, who was hilarious in it.
Danny McBride's funny.
And
he was in Tropic Thunder.
What's his name? Seth.
Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen. Yeah, it's a Seth Rogen movie. And
it's a stoner movie, though, right?
Yes, I would qualify it as a stoner movie.
I found it interesting that you were a fan of stoner movies. Like, I love Harold and Kumar movies. Those are great movies.
And I haven't seen those, but I hear
You've
they're good.
You've never seen the first Harold and Kumar? Go to White Castle?
No, I have not seen that.
My man.
I think I saw the commercial cable version of it.
Okay, so
I need to see the real non-edited version.
I do my movie reviews on Wednesday at 1:30. I might need to get you to watch some of these movies, and Harold and Kumar would be the first one. Chris Villasenor on Facebook says We're the Millers is good. Haven't seen that one. I'd be willing to check it out. My movie review this Wednesday at 1:30 is going to be Urban Cowboy, and I'm getting hounded by Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5, getting hounded by Rob Thompson, getting hounded by lots of people asking me, are you team Sissy? Or are you team Pam? Did you like that movie? And everyone is kind of confused because they all think that I didn't like the movie, but I told them I'm not going to tell you till Wednesday.
Pay attention to Wednesday then.
Exactly.
Rudy J will show up just for that.
Oh, dude, Rudy J has been all over me about this. And apparently the team Pam versus team Sissy is kind of like team Aniston versus team Angelina Jolie. Okay, you liked one or the other, but the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are still open at 656 ESPN. We're going to put a bow on the show on the other side, but we have another segment to go. If you want to talk about the Spurs, you want to talk about Cowboys, want to talk about the NFL playoffs, reach out to us. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5.
If you're currently listening to San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM, on February 1st, you'll need to retune your radio to 1250 AM and 103.3 FM. Same great programming, stronger signal, we think. Probably not.
The San Antonio Spurs fell to the Philadelphia 76ers last night, 115-109. Joel Embiid went off for 38 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists for Philadelphia, while Jakob Poeltl had 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks for San Antonio. The Dallas Mavericks picked up a win against the Memphis Grizzlies, 104-91. Luka Doncic finished with 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists in a duel with Ja Morant, who countered with 35 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. In the G League, the Austin Spurs lost in Birmingham to the Squadron, 113-106. Josh Primo was on assignment from San Antonio and had a career-high 24 points with 4 assists and 3 rebounds. Spurs two-way player Devontae Cacok had his 14th straight double-double with 14 points and 18 rebounds. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Karl Schoening.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
At Lowe's, find aisles of styles that transform. Create a serene space with an Allen + Roth Wilmer shower door for $549 and bathroom vanities starting at $99.98. And find an Allen + Roth Harlow brushed nickel faucet for $99. Design your room your way, from start to finishing touches. Shop the Lowe's Bath Style and Save event now, in-store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. About the 3/18. Selection varies by location while supplies last. U.S. only.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired their personal trainer as a caterer.
All right, folks, let's keep this line moving. You there with the tongs. Picking up one Duchess potato at a time will not cut it at my catering table. Drop and give me 50.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Okay, this is what we call the wild mushroom and asparagus dip, and press. Come on, let's get those plates above your heads.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Imagine a life with no more tooth pain. If you struggled with dental problems all of your life, or maybe you're missing teeth, or maybe you've got cavities followed by fillings and more fillings and more fillings, then a root canal, and then the crowns to follow, only to have the pain come back. You know what I'm talking about, and if you're dealing with it, stop. And stop spending lots of money at the dentist every few years only to have it fail. Dental implants at River City Oral Surgery could be your solution. Dr. Mark Habercorn at River City Oral Surgery is an oral surgeon and a medical doctor, and he offers direct patient care with prices that are literally listed on his website, rivercityoms.com. $1,300 per dental implant. That includes exams, x-rays, and post-op care. $20,900 to replace all the teeth in one jaw with implant teeth, and that also includes everything from start to finish. The prices are on the website and financing is available. Stop the struggle. It's time for no more tooth pain. No more worrying that something will blow up on you. I want you to call Dr. Mark Habercorn at River City Oral Surgery at 210-778-0002.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
The crazy world of SEC football.
I'm East Coast, baby. All you weak-back Southern boys don't know nothing about East Coast.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, this afternoon at 2. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, this is Sarah Spain, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM, on the go at sasportstar.com. Don't forget, we're changing, going to 103.3 beginning on February 1st. Adam Altalvo reaches out to me on Facebook and says Deadpool is a good comedy of the last 10 to 12 years. Again, I have said it once, I'll say it again. Blockers is my favorite comedy of the last 10 to 12 years because comedies have gone to crap since around 2012. Now, during the break, Karl, you mentioned one. Which one did you like?
The Interview.
That's a good one. And that would rival it. The problem with The Interview, though, is that if I'm flipping through channels and I come across it, I'm not going to stop and watch. I mean, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I've seen it multiple times, but it's just not the one where I'm going to stop and go, oh, hey, look what's on. You know, and to me, Blockers is that movie. It's just that movie where if I stumble across it on Comedy Central, or if I stumble across it on HBO, you know, old school ways of doing things, I would watch it. And it's just one of those things, man. But it's been a fun time. We've been talking NFL action. Again, we have Kansas City favored by 7 over Cincinnati. And we have San Francisco as a 3.5-point underdog to the Chiefs. So unreal that both underdogs have beaten the favorite in the regular season this year. Hey, Karl. So anyway, we're going on and on. Again, Jason Minix will be here at 4 o'clock from 4 to 7 for the Blitz. But man, going back, the Spurs are back in action later on this week against the Rockets. And
I'm sorry about that. I had a phone call.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking to me, so I was like, hey, put up the mic. But okay, so we're talking about the NFLs, right? So we have both underdogs have beaten the favorites sometime this year. So do you think that any of the underdogs are going to win these games, or do you think it's just going to be favorites and we're looking at a Rams Chiefs? It's just bound to happen. Or do you need time to think about this?
You know, I don't like Vegas lines because it's just to encourage you to gamble. And if I could predict the future, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. That's my general thought process, and I know that's a cop out. I got Chiefs and I got 49ers. They seem like I would say the 49ers, and the 49ers are underdogs, right?
Yeah.
I got 49ers in that game.
Isn't there like a team of destiny thing going on with the Niners right now?
They sort of feel something like that.
I mean, they shouldn't be in the playoffs. They make their way in. They get an upset in the first round against the Cowboys. They go into Jerry World, get that win. They go into Lambeau and somehow pull it off. Because right now, I mean, you've got to think that was the hardest challenge that they would ever have, is to go to Lambeau and win. They went and they beat Aaron Rodgers. And now they're going to LA, where they're going to be the de facto home team, right? There will be more red jerseys out there than white and blue ones. If you're saying that it's going to be the Niners in the Super Bowl, I would absolutely believe you. But again, I'm a big fan of those Cincinnati Bengals. Been saying it since Thanksgiving. This is the team. Chris Villasenor real fast says he's Team Pam. Movie reviews 1:30 on Wednesday. Urban Cowboy. This is halftime. Come back to us at 4 o'clock. Minix and Reinagel will be here for the Blitz.